As a psychotherapist, one of the most transformative shifts I've seen in my work comes when clients stop seeing their past experiences as sources of damage and start recognizing them as the roots of their resilience. Now, this is at the core of adaptive response theory, or ART, which I co-developed with James Earl. ART builds on traditional attachment theory, but instead of focusing on the so-called attachment wounds that come with anxious or avoidant styles, it reframes these as adaptive strategies, ingenious responses to difficult environments, rather than signs of pathology or deficit. Let me explain how this works in practice. Take someone with an anxious attachment style, for example. Conventional attachment theory might label this as an emotional flaw, an indicator of past damage. But through the lens of ART, I encourage clients to see it differently. What if their anxiety is actually a smart survival strategy? For example, a child who grows up with inconsistent or unpredictable caregivers learns to become hyper-attuned to the emotional states of others. That watchfulness, though anxiety-inducing, is a way of ensuring their needs are met. And that skill, while challenging, also fosters a deep emotional intelligence that can serve them well throughout life. So, rather than viewing this as a wound, we can start to see it as an act of adaptation, something that once helped them survive. Similarly, I work with clients who have an avoidant attachment style. Now, traditionally, this has been seen as coldness or emotional distance, but in ART, we look at it as another smart adaptation. If a child learns early on that their emotional needs won't be met by others, they turn inward, cultivating self-reliance and independence. While this can create challenges in relationships later in life, it also results in a person who is highly self-sufficient, a skill that can be a tremendous asset. Now, it's not a weakness. It's a survival tool they developed. But ART goes beyond attachment styles. It applies to a range of psychological experiences, depression, OCD, even addiction. And what I often explore with clients is the idea that these aren't simply problems to fix, but adaptive responsive that, in some way, help them rise above their circumstances. For instance, I help clients see that depression might be an attempt to slow down and conserve emotional energy in a world that feels overwhelming. Deep rest, depressed. It's not just a condition, it's an act of transcendence. This doesn't mean these responses don't have downsides, particularly in relationships, but seeing them as adaptive strategies opens up new, more hopeful perspectives. Where I've seen ART have the most profound impact is how it instills hope. It shows clients that what they once saw as flaws or weaknesses are actually signs of their strength and capacity for change. In therapy, we're not just focused on fixing what's wrong, but rather on recognizing the resilience people have shown through adversity. Using ART, clients learn to see their anxious watchfulness or avoidant self-reliance as tools rather than as burdens. And they become empowered to use these tools in new ways, whether it's deepening their relationships or building a stronger sense of self. Ultimately, ART is about transforming how people see their past. It's not about being limited by what happened to them, but about recognizing the incredible adaptability they've shown. I often tell my clients that their stories aren't defined by wounds, but by evidence of resilience and potential for growth. So therapy then becomes a journey of reimagining life as full of possibilities for connection, healing, and transcendence.